One of the most important things you can learn and be able to do is to work with ratios and proportions. Really, I think if you only remember two things about mathematics, it's the Pythagorean theorem and how to use proportions. Again, depending on how comfortable you feel, you might be able to get away with just doing 1 through 21 odd. You might want to do all of them for more practice. So a ratio, another word for ratio is a fraction, A over B. A proportion is an equation between two ratios. And if you're asked to put it in simplest form, it's basically means to reduce the fraction. You would see that both of these are divisible by 3. And the whole idea behind this is I'm really just dividing by 1 if I divide by 3 over 3. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 39 divided by 3 is 13. So now that's in simplest form. And ratios are often expressed in simplest form. 15 to 15, both of these are divisible by 5. 3 over 10. Sometimes you don't get to the simplest form right off the bat, depending on how good you are at finding the largest common factor, I guess that's what it is. And then number 3, in this case, sometimes it's simply a variable that a divided by a is just 1. Yeah, so basically that's what's going on here if I think about this idea of factoring. 15 is 5 times 3. 50 is 5 times 10. And just like we talked about before, since this is all multiplication and division, I can do it in whatever order I want. So I can do 5 divided by 5 and get 1. And then 1 times 3 over 10 is just 3 over 10. So those are all the reasons behind being able to do what you do, cancel, reduce. Technically, you're factoring out and factoring out a 1, essentially. So solving a proportion, many of us learn to solve by cross products. Technically, that's the next section, so these two sections go pretty readily together. Some people don't like the idea of cross products, and I understand why, because students use them inappropriately if they don't really understand what they're doing. So in this case, if I want to get x by itself, right now it's being divided by 30, so I would multiply by 30, and I think you've sort of seen me do this before, where if I'm working with fractions, I like everything to be a fraction. Then you can see 30 divided by 30 is 1, and 1 times x is just x. And then over here, actually, you can see something nice happen. 30 divided by 6 is 5, and then 5 times 11 is 55. So x should be 55. So 11 is to 6 as 55 is to 30. Same thing over here. What would I do? I would multiply by 35 over 1. I would multiply by 35 over 1. And this is just 1. 1 times w is w. 35 divided by 7 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. And then finally 12. 12 over 1. 12 over 1, 6 is 54, equals m. So in this case, I'm solving the proportion by getting the variable by itself, and I'm undoing division by multiplication. And just be comfortable with the verbal statement. 3 is to 8 as x is to 32. Well, how would I write that? 3 is to 8 as x is to 32. And then go ahead and solve that. Y is to 20 as 9 is to 5. Y is to 20 as 9 is to 5. So if I knew that there were the ratio of boys to girls in a class was 9 to 5, if there were 20 girls in the class, how many boys were there in the class? So I know the ratio in simplest form is 9 to 5. So I want to equate that. If I know the number of girls is 20, how can I find the number of boys? Okay, here's an example of a word problem. The number of pizzas sold. Here were the size of the pizzas, and here were the number of pizzas sold. What was the ratio of small to large? Well, that's just 96 to 240. And you would want to find that in simplest form. I don't know, what does that look like? 96 is maybe divisible by 14? No. It's divisible by 6, and 240 is certainly divisible by 6. So when I do that, I actually get 16 to 40, but I know that that can further be reduced. Divide both by 4, I get 4/10. Oh, could have done by 8, huh? 2/5. So sometimes it takes a little while to get there, but eventually get there. Small to large, ratio of peaches is 2 to 5. Medium to large, 144 to 240. And then what about large to all the pizzas? Well, I know I had 240 large. How many pizzas did I have total? 240 plus 144 plus 96. I have to add them all up. So sometimes you have to do a little bit of addition. This looks like 1/2, huh? So, yeah, recognize when you might have to combine some of the information that you're given. Okay, that's that one.